Gatsby? What Gatsby? I can't even take my own jokes seriously. My name is Katie Carson and I am one of the soap makers here on this channel. Welcome back to Book Month. That is the month of August 2019. Everything we make in this month will be available to purchase on September 7th of 2019 at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today, as you can tell by my headdress that totally matches my shirt, we are going to be making Great Gatsby soap. I read The Great Gatsby when I was in high school and then I watched the movie whenever it came out a little later on. I love both. I know that there are going to be some people who are like, no, the movie was horrible, but I liked it. And so, without further ado, let's make some soap. So before we jump into soap making, I want to show you guys the idea, the concept art that I've drawn up. So we have some very sharp lines in here. This is supposed to be sort of representative of the Art Deco style of the 1920s. It's kind of showcased a little bit in the Baz Luhrmann Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio. He kind of uses that a lot in the background, specifically for the movie posters and also the DVD cover. And then pulling in all of those really rich blues, I kind of thought of the traditional Great Gatsby cover. Everyone who had to read Great Gatsby in high school basically has seen this classic version of the novel cover. So put that all together and that's kind of what I envisioned for the inside. And then on top, these stars specifically were from the movies. And one of the things that they did at his parties was throw streamers of gold and silver, and there were stars hanging everywhere. That's also pretty classic for 1920 styles. Lots of the photo shoots done with flappers had big like moons hanging. They had stars that hung and like then the flapper lady would sit in the moon. It's very, very pretty. And the celestial idea was pretty common during that era. So we're just kind of tying in the stars there. We're gonna have tons of glitter, tons of sparkle, and yet the inside again is going to be sort of modern, very Art Deco. So that's kind of the idea. I don't always show my idea for this, but because I'm trying to do sort of historical representation, I thought I would show you guys why I did what I did, why I was thinking what I was thinking. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pour my lye water solution into my oils. I'm just pouring it down the side. And I know, I really thought about this design. I know, some people might think, girl, you've gone overkill. It's a soap, but it is also my craft. It is art, and therefore I overthink it. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that I overthink everything in my life. Okay, so I am going to mix this up with my pink stick blender. Everyone needs one of these. They're 25 bucks, y'all. I have really, really enjoyed it. They're cheaper than the ones from Cuisinart. It's great. So now I'm gonna pour this off into 3 equal portions. This is gonna be how I make an even diagonal line. 2 of them I'm actually gonna end up pouring back together, but I have to get that third one the exact perfect amount. So in this middle container, I have black oxide mixed with oil. And in these 2 containers, I have ultramarine blue mixed with midnight blue mica. So it's gonna be a very strong, very vibrant blue. But because I have to make nice straight lines, I'm not gonna mix them all up at one time. That'll cause them to get thick. They might be kind of chunky. We don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna mix up one at a time, starting with this one. So I have added the fragrance oil into this container before I've mixed up the color. What fragrance oil could we use for a Great Gatsby soap besides champagne? So I'm using champagne from Brambleberry. It smells so delightful. It's bubbly, it's fresh, it's a little bit sweet, got sort of a lemon lime soda feel to it, but again, very, very effervescent. So let's blend this in and watch the magical color transformation. Okay, so I've blended everything in. It is so blue. It's just gorgeous. So I'm gonna pour it into our 2 Brambleberry molds after this quick commercial break. Okay, so I am going to pour this blue down the side, just like so. We're gonna let it crawl its way up the side of the mold. I'm going to try to make it an even line all the way down. Come over here, do the same thing over here. Just pour right down the middle and let it float its way to the edges. This will very probably get super close to touching the other side of the mold. That is the point. Okay, so I just got these even. I tapped them down a little bit, made sure that blue was nice and flat on the top. And now taking the Aztec Gold mica, I'm gonna spoon some of it out into my little tea strainer, and we're gonna use this to cover the entire top of the blue. That's what's gonna create that really nice gold line. This is gonna be one of the harder mica lines that I've done because it's on an incline, so I'm gonna have to wait for the soap to set up before I can clean anything. I will say though, it's also a very satisfying thing to do to see that bright blue get covered up by gold. And quite frankly, I'm not going to be able to get my tea strainer all the way in there, so once again I'm gonna have to wait for that to set up before I can tap it down that portion of the blue. Okay, so for the next layer, it's going to be black, and everything is still nice and runny. I don't know how. It's a miracle. Mostly it has to do with the temperature, quite honestly. It is a nice temperature in the studio for making soap right now. And every single recipe acts a little bit differently, so what works for me may not work for you. That's just one of the artisan parts of this craft. So now that I've mixed it in by hand, I'm gonna stick blend this, and you guys will be able to see just how much darker it gets with stick blending. I'm just mixing in the fragrance oil by hand now. Whenever we get to this stage in the game, mixing by hand is typically a good idea because it keeps things very runny for a while. I am barely able to talk for this one. It is taking a lot of my concentration. Okay, woo! Now that the black is done, I can actually talk again. We're gonna cover that with gold. I love the two golds here are going to touch and create one seamless gold line. Oh. I've had a couple people tell me, Katie, my mica lines aren't showing up in my soap. I've been there, my friend. I've been there. Typically, it's because you're not using enough mica. This takes a lot of mica for it to show up in the finished product. I probably have to refill this thing twice per loaf per mica line to get it like as thick and as pretty as I want it. For this final layer, I will simply break the fall once just to make sure that I don't puncture that little pretty bit. Oh, this is my favorite part. Cover it all up. Yes. Oh.
Betrayal.
That is exactly what I thought in my head. Now I'll just pour it all in. So now I'm just cleaning up the edges of the mold because I honestly can't look at it in its current condition. And then I am going to mix up the soap frosting to go on top, and we will get to piping. So I have got some blue gloves and blue piping and a blue soap top, and everything is blue. Oh, I love blue piping. This is a little bit runny still. I have a lot of embeds and lots of things that I need to stick to the soap, so I'm piping a little bit early. When you pick to add piping to your soap is really just a personal preference. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You'll get different shapes depending on your consistency. You know, it's funny. The Great Gatsby found me in a really weird place in life because I was, I think, a sophomore in high school. I had a very weird sense of style. I liked the vintage thing before that was a thing. That's right, I said it. I was on the cutting edge of that vintage trend. Kenny can attest to it.
She was there from the beginning.
Yeah, I was doing the vintage thing before it was cool. It was just weird. People thought I was weird. It was when skinny jeans jeans were a thing, and that's what everyone wore with their cute clothes. And I was like, a pencil skirt! Please, a pencil skirt. Red lipstick, winged liner, please, I beg you. So that's when I found The Great Gatsby. And then I had a little flapper girl 1920s phase, and I cut my hair, and I wore dresses that were long and pearls that I twisted in a knot as an everyday outfit. Needless to say, I was not a normal high school kid. I was just kind of weird. And I think that's another reason why YouTube made sense. The more I'm on YouTube, the more I realize the people that start YouTube channels typically do not have like the most normal high school childhood experience. There's always something that sets them apart a little bit. Basically, YouTube is the virtual island of misfit toys. We're all ruled by PewDiePie, King Moonraiser.
I think King Moonracer is a little more
Regal?
benevolent.
Yeah. Anyway, basically, I'm a big fan of The Great Gatsby. I think it is a wonderful depiction of the era. I think it's a wonderful depiction of just humankind, of greed, and what it gets you. And what is that word I'm looking for, Kenneth? Hedonistic.
You're being a
Hedonism. Yes, it's a perfect depiction of hedonism. So now let's put in our stars. We have two kinds. We have silver and we have gold, and each soap is going to have one of each. Just gonna stick these right in. These stars are beautiful. I will leave you guys a link to the Amazon mold that we used down below. Another thing that inspired me for this soap was a blog post I read a long time ago from a girl who is my age. I started following her when I was 15, when blogging was still like the main way of doing social media, kinda. I mean, there was Facebook and whatever, but for artsy types, that was the way to go. And she had a blog post about her prom that was Gatsby 1920s inspired. She made her own prom dress. She is a fashion designer now. And her blog was just, it spoke to my soul. And her Gatsby photo shoot that she did was just gorgeous. Her dress was also blue, by the way. And I just still, even to this day, that was years ago, I just love that photo shoot. I love all the photo shoots really that she did on the blog, and clothes that she sewed for her own photo shoots. It was so impressive. So the next thing I'm putting on are these beautiful metallic sprinkles from Fancy Sprinkles. They are vegan. Just so you know, a lot of sprinkles actually aren't vegan, so you want to make sure that the company that you're purchasing from, if that's important to you, are actually disclosing the fact that they are. And this has these really pretty like gold and silver pieces. It has white stars and it has teeny tiny gold stars in it as well. So it's really the perfect addition. I'll leave you guys a link to these down below. So I'm just going to start putting this on the top. Oh yes, I am so glad there is white in the sprinkle mix. That really kind of pulls it together. And any little place that I'm not getting sprinkles, that's okay, because I'm actually going to end up putting some biodegradable glitter on top of all this anyway. But there's some teeny tiny gold and silver stars. You guys probably aren't able to discern them from that far away, but whenever we do the close-up, you will be able to. Kenny, do you know what these long skinny sprinkles are called?
No.
They're called jimmies.
What?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because it was on the website and they're like gold jimmies to silver jimmies.
Jimmy's.
Yeah, like a boy's name, Jimmy.
Did you ever look up why it was named that?
No. Well, Kenny's looking that up. I'm going to put a little bit of holographic glitter on the top. Not a whole bunch. This isn't a huge hollow soap, but we do want just a little bit to pull in that silver.
So it looks like Jimmy's is just a term that was popularized in Philadelphia and Boston regions.
Oh.
With an unknown origin, but it was first documented in 1930s as a topping for a cake.
That's so crazy. That's such a simple explanation.
And it's such a specific reference. Good on you, bulk sprinkles or whatever your name is.
Okay guys, this glitter mix from Fizz Fairy is called Gold Digger and it is absolutely stunning. It's an eco-friendly glitter. I highly recommend this gal's glitter mixes. They are just so perfectly curated. She has just the right amount of mix of small and large. Look at this. So we've got chunky gold, chunky silver, and then teeny tiny black, and it's so nice. I just love it. It's gonna be perfect on top of this soap. It's literally pulling in all of the colors, and black glitter always adds a certain depth to your soap. Not sure why. I think it just helps play with the shadows in the crevices of the piping. I said not sure why, and then I gave like a perfectly valid explanation. Maybe I am sure why, but I'm not skimping. I can tell you that. This is getting a generous helping. I want this to look like there was a finale, there were fireworks, the dance floor was popping, then all the glitter fell and everyone danced and cheered and clapped and it was magical. I want all that right on the top of my soap. Gonna put a little more on top right here and bam, we're done. Picture this now. You've got Jay-Z and No Church in the Wild playing. You've got balloons falling. You got glitter coming out of the ceilings being smashed into the tile on the floor. And Tobey Maguire saying in his weird little voice, "The parties were wilder." If you haven't seen the commercial for The Great Gatsby, I'm gonna link it so that you can, and then think about this soap, because I think it's got it. I think it's got the vibe. So we're gonna wait for 18 to 24 hours. I'm gonna let them set up. I'm gonna let them get hard, and then we're gonna chop into them and we're gonna see how pretty that mica work is after this quick commercial break. So we're back. Took out the Great Gatsby soap. Honestly, I'm a little bit scared. It looks good on the outside. I don't know. I always get anxious before a big cut like this. I'm gonna line it up, and I am gonna cut this one really slow because I want those little jimmies to break. I don't want them to go through into the soap. I want me to push and them to either move out of the way or just break in half. There's gonna be a lot of sprinkles on the table for this one. Ooh. All right, let's take one out of the middle. My gosh, I am living for it. It's so good. Look at that top. What a party. Also, I'll probably clean this up a little bit because you do see that the mica has smeared, and that will make the line super sharp. I think the point was definitely proven. All that time spent with that mica, worth it. All right, let's cut open another one to see what the alternate angle looks like. Gotta line this up in here. It's actually coming through with the cut really smoothly. Those sprinkles are moving out my way.
Bonus cut. Bonus.
So we're pretty gosh darn consistent between those layers. Looks like this little triangle is a teeny bit smaller than that little triangle. Also, I wiped this one off so you can see that gold mica line is coming through really strong. Ugh, I'm obsessed. I love it. I love it. It's so geometric. I want to do more geometric soaps. Okay, so as Kenneth said, on the theme of opulence, the question of the day is, would you rather win a lot of money or earn a lot of money? I will leave you guys the poll in the upper right hand corner of the screen, but I'd love to see a discussion down in the comments section for why you picked what you pick. Me personally, I would much rather earn it. I have a hard time accepting things from people anyway, and I like to work, like I genuinely enjoy it, and it's also very motivating to have, like, you know, a payout. The harder you work, the more money you make and whatever, that sort of a thing, so I would definitely rather earn it. What about you, Kenneth? Would you rather earn it or win it?
I would rather earn it. However, I would totally understand somebody saying, I'll just take a little win.
Oh, me too. Me too. I can definitely relate to that as well. And I'm sure there will be plenty of people who are just like, let's just take a small present of $5 million. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment down below. What other books do you think we will be doing this month? You can follow us over on Instagram. We're really close to hitting 100,000 Instagram followers. I never thought I would even say that, but we literally are over on Instagram. So if you follow us over there, it's a good thing to do because I will definitely be doing a giveaway once we hit that fabulous number. Also, Kenny and I both have our own Instagrams too, if you want to follow those. And Kenny has his own YouTube channel. So everything Lego, nerdy, Pokemon, anime, whatever, you should definitely go over there. Check out his videos. He has a sum total of 2 at the time I'm filming. A truly impressive number from a budding YouTuber. He's in the other room and can totally hear everything I'm saying, by the way. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that is scrounging up an old novel that you read in high school, if for nothing but to relive the memories when you look at the front cover, or throwing a traditional party. Why does nobody do that anymore? Maybe other people do in other places, but I can tell you this, Kenny and I never get invited to traditional parties anymore. With an invitation. I want an invitation. Either way, do something that makes you guys happy, and I will see you all soon. So until next time, bye for now. A little party never killed no